Well, Wizards is at it again. Now, I really enjoyed making the last video. It was a lot of fun to actually believe for a few hours that Wizards of the Coast wasn't going to fuck everybody over. It's not going to last, obviously. I didn't think they would jump back off the bridge this quickly, but here they go. So I am still working on another fun video, right? The last one, I've been wanting to make that video for a long time, okay? And it was long and it didn't get a lot of views, and that's fine with me because I got to say what I wanted to say, and it was a fun video to make. And I'm going to try to drive some traffic to it after the video. I'll pop a card up in the window, but I'm working on another fun video. But I just had to throw my 2 cents in because I was working on my video. I was kind of organizing my thoughts of what I wanted to say, which I actually do. Not everything I say is completely off the top of my head. I don't work with a script, but I do think about what I'm going to say first, and I organize it, I write it down, I look over the piece of paper, I kind of get to know what it is that I'm going to say, and then I plop that in front of you when I say it, and if I screw up, I edit it out. So, what I want to talk to you about this time is, I'm going pro, so I want to tell you all about how professional dungeon masters are ruining Dungeons and Dragons. But I'm not going to do that video this time because, well, Wizards of the Coast is up to their old tricks. Because I took a little break and I tuned in and I started watching some other YouTubers and what they had to say about the game, and I saw this. Now, I'm not the brightest bulb on the street by by the wildest stretch of anyone's imagination, but come on. This is so obvious, okay? Look. Wizards screwed the pooch. They made a huge tactical error. They thought that they had the customer base divided to the point where they could pull this OGL crap. And they knew that us grumpy old grognards were going to have a fucking cow. But they thought that our reaction would trigger support on behalf of their woke scolds. They were wrong. Because guess what? Their woke scolds are making money on Dungeons and Dragons too. They overstretched, they overreached. And the entire customer base united against them. And so here, this is them, right here, look. This is them trying to basically get the status quo back. They're trying to redivide their customer base. Kyle Brink does not believe a word of what he said. If he did, he would quit his job and make room so that Wizards of the Coast could put in a diversity hire. Instead, could replace him with a diversity hire. He's not doing that now, is he? Right? Couldn't get out fast enough. But somehow they just wouldn't let me go. But Ken, Kyle is the number two person in charge of Dungeons and Dragons. He's a very important guy. They can't replace him with just anybody. Okay, never mind the condescension of that statement. The presumption that no black or Hispanic or Asian person could possibly ever do his job. I'm again, because I keep having to remind people that these guys have no power. Even Cynthia Williams doesn't have that much power. He's the number 2 guy at Dungeons and Dragons, which makes him like number 300 at Hasbro. Okay? Wizards of the Coast is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Hasbro Corporation. Kyle Brink is not allowed to take a shit without permission from Hasbro, okay? These people have no real power anymore. This is not an independent company anymore. Cynthia Williams and Kyle Brink are middle management now. Hasbro's running the show. That's what's happening here. Now, let me tell you a little secret. When a multinational billion-dollar corporation calls you transgressive, that's a compliment, okay? But that's the plan, okay? They're setting us up for the next stage in their marketing, which is going to be something to the effect of, well, we opened up the 5th edition to everybody. We made it a part of the Creative Commons. And now look at all this horrible, transgressive things that these evil people, these white supremacists are doing with the game. No. If you are a decent human being, if you are a good person, if you are not racist or misogynist or homophobic or transphobic, then you're going to come with us and play 6th edition. That's going to be the pitch. And to all you 5th edition players who have been giving us old grognards shit for many, many years now, I have something I'd like to say to you. Now, you're going to be on board with us soon. Some of you are going to be dumb enough to toddle off after Wizards of the Coast. You deserve whatever you get, because the terms of service on 6th edition are going to be brutal. They're going to be, basically, you're going to become volunteer module makers for Wizards of the Coast. And they're going to steal all your work, and they're going to publish it under their own name, and they're going to be able to do that because you agreed to their terms of service. So it's just going to be, but you get to be the good person, right? So, grognards, this one's for you. I know these people can be terribly annoying. But for what it's worth, their intentions are good. Okay? There's nothing wrong with being woke. Being a woke scold, that's a problem. But these people, their intentions are at least on the right side, and we still have a shared interest with them. So let's try to make this transition as easy on them as possible, because they are about to find out what it's like to be on our end of Wizards of the Coast's ire. And, well, you remember this guy? Well, it's only a matter of time before there's another clown standing right next to Thaco for the 5th edition players. Okay? That's the way Wizards of the Coast markets. Okay? We're in the same boat. So let's just keep our arms open and our eyes open and our hearts open to these people, because Wizards is about to kick a whole bunch of them to the curb. Their logic is simple. They've lost control of 5th edition. They've lost control of the OSR. They'll never get it back. So, what do? They're going to create an environment where those evil people over there are playing those old games, and there's just nothing we can do about it because they're bad people. But if they're good people, they play 6th edition. Back, Wizards of the Coast is back to their old tricks. Nothing to be done about it except support each other. Okay? Support each other. And I don't care if you voted for Joe Biden or if you voted for Donald Trump. I don't care. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're both idiots, so I really don't care. But it's not an issue. My issue is, you want to come over and play Dungeons and Dragons? Because that's my issue with this group of people that I'm talking to now. And if the answer is yes, come on over, let's have a good time. And if the answer is no, hey, I understand. My game's not everybody's cup of tea. That's allowed. But when WotC comes for you, they come for me. And it doesn't matter who you are. Now, I would like to throw this out. I already threw my message out to the grognards. Okay, I want to throw this one out to you guys that play 5e. We're not your enemy. We never really were. This is what Wizards of the Coast does. Okay, they try to play their audience against each other. They try to, well, the first thing they tried to do was squash the older editions completely. That was the first thing they tried to do. That failed for a variety of reasons that we've all just covered in exhaustive detail. This is not the first time that that Wizards of the Coast has had to get this exact same lesson, right? So what they did was they basically they divided us. If you play 5th edition, you're the good people, as if 2 different play styles is evil. They even put little disclaimers on the bottom of the products that we buy from Drive-Thru RPG saying, people who play this game are racist. If you're simping for a billion-dollar multinational corporation and shitting on independent small publishers, you're not a leftist. You're just not. Okay. Wizards of the Coast is not they don't believe in leftism in any way, shape, or form. Wizards of the Coast has absolutely zero interest in social democracy, democratic socialism. They have no interest in giving you Medicare for all. None. Zero. Zilch. Wizards of the Coast hides behind the skirts of identity politics. It's all they've ever done. It's all they're doing now. Okay? The insincerity of Kyle Brink's statement is self-evident to anybody with any kind of objective view of how these multinational corporations work. They're all about diversity because it doesn't cost them anything. Right? It makes them look like the good guys without actually having to be the good guys. Let's leave the politics out of it. Okay, guys? Seriously, let's just agree to disagree on the rest of it, and we'll just hash all that out in the voting booths. Can we please do that? In terms of our existing as a customer base for Wizards of the Coast, let's try to stay together on this one, because Wizards is already trying to divide us again. And guys, I'm telling you, and this doesn't affect me. Okay, I'm accustomed. I was a Christian in a Christian school playing Dungeons and Dragons right smack dab in the middle of the satanic panic. I'm used to being the bad guy. Okay, I take a certain, I don't know, nostalgic comfort in being considered the transgressive Dungeons and Dragons player. I'm totally okay with that. This doesn't affect me. Okay, the people that are going to get hurt by Wizards of the Coast are the ones who actually listen to them, the ones that believe them, the ones that go over to 6th edition thinking somehow that makes them virtuous. Because you're going to wind up. I used to play a massive multiplayer online role-playing game that I really liked, Star Trek Online. And I liked it because it had a level editor, right? And I did a couple of modules in the level editors. It was fun, right? And people played them, and they left me these wonderful reviews telling me how great I was. And some of them even threw me some what do you call it, in-game currency, right? Some dilithium. And then it occurred to me what I was doing. I was providing free content for this huge Chinese company. I was just giving them my creative energies. I'm just handing it to them for nothing. I was an unpaid game designer for this company. And you know what? I stopped updating everything. I stopped updating the stuff I had already done. I stopped playing the game completely, actually. I was pretty pissed off. And I don't do that anymore. Okay? I don't give my creative energies away to multinational corporations. I don't do that anymore. And you shouldn't either. And if you go over to 6th edition, that's what you're going to become. Okay? You're going to become game free. You're going to become unpaid game designers for Wizards of the Coast. That's where they're trying to take this. When the toss comes out, give it a good read before you click next and set yourself up on that VTT, because it's going to be written into those terms of service that anything you create inside that system is going to be their property. Look, Wizards of the Coast is not your friend. They are not the good guys. They're not the bad guys. They're just a multinational corporation doing what multinational corporations are supposed to do. They are doing their level best to maximize profitability for shareholders. That's their job. Their job is not to provide a diverse and inclusive game or workspace. Their job is to make money. Any message they send out, you got to think around it, because the message is always about profit. Always. Any other message that they might try to send you is what we call unethical in the business world. Okay, because business has its own concept of ethics, and what it boils down to is that it is your job, your sole function, your sole consideration. You don't worry about the environment. You don't worry about social justice. You don't worry about any of that stuff. Okay, your job as a corporation is to maximize profits, to increase the value of your stocks, so the shareholders can profit from their investments. That's your job. Anything else that any corporation, not just Wizards of the Coast, any corporation says, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. We care about the environment. Bullshit. Diversity and inclusion is important to our company. Bullshit. It's all about profits. And that's the way it's supposed to be. And if you go to business school, they're going to drum that into your head. And if you're going to make it in the corporate world, take it from a guy who made it pretty far in the corporate world. That's going to have to be your attitude. It's not your job to be a good person. It's not your job to make the world a better place. It's not your job to clean up the environment. It's not your job to endorse social justice. It is your job to make more money. And anything else that some corporate, that $1 billion multinational corporation comes along claiming that they want to do is bullshit. Okay, that's enough. Gotta go. I'm gonna go make a fun video about how guys like me are destroying Dungeons and Dragons. Peace out.